Hi guys, today is all about your affirmations. Is there a good time to change them? Why should you change them? And in what moments actually is that the best thing for you to do for your manifestation? Because I will summarize right now and tell you that it's often not a good time or idea to change your affirmations, and I have touched upon this in other videos why affirmations are so important, but today I'm going to explain to you maybe there are some moments you've experienced where you could change it and it won't impact your manifestation negatively. So if you'd like to hear all about that, please stay tuned. Please do thumbs up and subscribe and turn on that notification bell just below this video. It would mean a lot to me, and then you can stay up to date with all my newest uploads as soon as my videos come out. I also post a lot of short content, so if you like kind of shorter form, quick snippets of advice, I do quite a few manifestation videos of that every week. So yeah, you want to stay tuned with that. I'm also over 4,000 subscribers, which I, for some reason, haven't said yet in a video. I think I just get so focused on the content, but thank you guys so much, because I think it was literally about a week ago that I was getting so close to 4,000, and now we finally hit that number. And it's thanks to you guys, you know, joining the community, this little manifestation coaching community that we have. You guys are really, really lovely. I appreciate all your comments and support. And it's well over 4,000 now. So partly me manifesting it and partly down to you guys just helping me build that up. So yeah, very exciting. That was my next kind of goal for YouTube ticked off. And I also offer coaching, so if that is something you're interested in, getting some one-on-one help, obviously I'm not going to, you know, write a massive paragraph of advice in the comments because I am a paid coach. So it wouldn't make sense if I, you know, spent hours a day responding to everyone's comments being like, well, this is step by step what you do, right? Because I offer paid coaching. But if you do feel that you want to work with me, that you connect with me and you need help with your manifestation, you enjoy my content and you feel like you trust me, you're never obligated to, but if you want to, I do offer coaching, which is listed on my Instagram below, LOA Coaching. All the details of what I offer, the prices, how to get in touch with me, everything is on there in the highlights on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, that's totally fine. You can just comment below and I'll give you my email address, and then we can start coaching through there. One moment when it is okay for you to change your affirmations is if you have been affirming a specific phrase, you know, a specific affirmation for approximately a month. And I've listed here a bunch of reasons why you could consider changing the wording and changing the affirmation. So first I want to say actually that it takes about 3 weeks to shift your habits and your habits and start changing your mindset. I think there are like scientific studies that have proven that it takes 3 weeks of consistency for your mindset to shift, and therefore, you know, whatever bad habits you have to kind of subside, and whatever new habit you are introducing, whatever positive trait you are trying to create, within 3 weeks it should start to cement in your mind and your routine and start to feel more natural and just kind of become who you are. That doesn't mean that within 3 weeks you are going to believe that you are married to SP. I'm not saying that, but in terms of positive habits, it takes 3 weeks, which means that with your affirmations, it's a similar process of conforming your mind, where within a couple of weeks of consistent affirming, it should start to feel more natural, more believable. You're starting to conform emotionally and mentally to your affirmations. Those are all signs that you are shifting. So within about 3 weeks, you should absolutely start within yourself, you know, internally or even externally, start seeing the signs of that. So what I'm going to say is, if after a month of affirmations, of that one specific phrase that you feel you want to change or get rid of, if it's been over a month approximately, obviously there's no exact time frame for anything, but I would say after 4 weeks, if you're really not connecting with it, then that could be a time to change it. If you really just don't enjoy saying it, there's no connection there, you're not feeling it, you're not visualizing it, it has no meaning to you basically, it's just like a random phrase, that could be a time that, you know, to reevaluate what you're saying and a sign that maybe that affirmation just isn't right for you. I've also written down here that if it doesn't feel natural in terms of the wording, because I do want to emphasize that when I say the feeling connected to the affirmation, you don't have to feel anything. Your emotions don't manifest, and you don't need to believe your affirmation either. So when I say you don't feel connected to the affirmation, I mean literally saying those words and using it as an affirmation has no meaning, you don't know what it would create, you don't know why you're saying it, like there's just no connection at all, no positive feeling attached to it and the specific wording you've chosen, that's probably a sign you're using the wrong affirmation, or perhaps you've just taken somebody else's and it's because they really connected with it, it was natural to them, but for you it's a complete opposite, so it's kind of pointless for you to be saying that. Also, if it doesn't fully align with what you want and it's just something you think you're meant to say but it's not really your exact desired outcome, probably time to change it. Also, if you don't understand it, like I said, if you've taken somebody else's affirmation, you don't really understand it, you don't really know why you're saying it, but you're like, well, it worked for this person, or this coach said it, you know, Alexa said it, so that means I have to use this. You don't, you can use any wording you want as long as it implies your desired outcome. Finally, if you are potentially not seeing or feeling any change, then it could be time to shift your wording of the affirmation. So what I mean by that is after 4 weeks, if you feel no difference of any kind, none at all, you hate saying it, you don't feel good at all, it's not motivating you, it's not inspiring, it's not creating a visual, you don't even know what it would look like if it manifested in reality, it's probably time to get rid of it, change it, shift the wording, think of something more natural for you. So when I say feel or see change, I don't mean movement. I mean just in general about a positive outcome of you saying the affirmation, right? Literally just sat there looping it. If looping it is a chore to you and you just, it just feels horrible and silly and you have no idea what you're doing, it's probably the wrong affirmation. It's a bit obvious, but once you have received your manifestation fully in the 3D, you've got exactly what you want, you are married to your SP, you have the job you want with the salary you want, your figure is exactly how you want it to look, your hair is exactly how you want it to look, literally anything. If you have the exact desire you want completely and utterly in your 3D, you can change the affirmation, you can get rid of it, you can stop saying it. If you find yourself faltering or the results start wavering and going back into the old story, you need to immediately start looping it again. But I would say that once it is literally yours in the 3D, exactly as you affirmed it to be, you can stop the affirmation or you can shift it into something different. Next point is also pretty obvious actually, and that is if your desire changes. If what you want shifts, if you decide actually, you know, I want a second SP and this first one that I've had a relationship with, you know, he or she isn't really who I want anymore, there's too much to conform for them, I like this new person that I've just met and I want both of them, but with the first SP, I just want him or her to text me and take me on a date instead of marry me. You know, you can completely change anything you want. So if your desire changes, absolutely change the affirmation. You're not obligated by anyone or anything to keep going with something you don't really want. So if your desire and mindset changes, you can shift your affirmations to adapt to that. That is totally fine. So next is kind of how to change your affirmations. Now I've told you a bunch of reasons of when and why maybe you should consider it, or when it would be totally okay without jeopardizing your manifestation or just a silly decision, because you're not seeing movement, that is not a reason to change it, by the way. But all the reasons above are absolutely valid reasons that you can change up the wording. So how do you actually do that? Well, if you found a new affirmation, perhaps you've read it from somebody else, perhaps it's one I mentioned, one from my new SP manifestation guidebook where I have a whole page of affirmations. Whatever it is, if you have found a new affirmation that you really, really love and you're like, oh my gosh, this encompasses what I want, this is so clever, I love the wording, and you want to use it, right? It can be very tempting. I would say don't go overboard and do like 50 or 100 affirmations. That's absolutely ridiculous. But if you find one you really, really love and you're like, this feels right, this is what I want, it's something that is lacking from my current affirmations, I would recommend combining it with an existing affirmation, because like I said, you don't want to go overboard with a huge list of affirmations, but likewise you don't want to keep shifting. You know, 1 week you say this, but then you say this, and then you found a different one. It's just not going to work very well for you. It's going to take a lot longer, it's going to be all over the place, your movement is going to be probably very slow because you keep changing the affirmation. So if you do find something you love, then just combine it. For example, if you've seen that someone has been affirming that SP treats me like a queen every single day or all day long, and you love that and you're not saying something like that, you can say, well, I say that SP chooses me, so, or SP is committed to me, you could say, SP chooses me and treats me like a queen all day long. SP is committed to me and treats me like a queen all day long. It's a bit of a long sentence, but that way you are still cutting down time because you're combining it into one affirmation. And yes, I know technically separated, they're the same thing, but if you can find a way to word it where you're just combining it, I honestly think it's a lot easier. And you can kind of get away with having more kind of key phrases and adjectives. It just makes it easier because you're saying it as one sentence and you're going to be looping both those phrases the same amount of time rather than saying SP is committed to me, you know, 100 times over, but then you realize, oh wait, I have that new affirmation, and then you only say that one 20 times. This way you're going to say them both equally. Or if it's something where you have 3 adjectives or verbs, for example, you could say, SP loves me, commits to me, and treats me like a queen, right? So you've combined 3 things into one. Very simple sentence saying exactly what you want from your SP, and then you're using that new affirmation you liked. So where possible, try and either switch out or add in those key phrases into your pre-existing affirmations. That way you're not losing any of the progress you've already made with those other affirmations, but you are adding in the new ones that you want as well. Before you do start switching up your wording, go through and evaluate your current affirmations. First check, do they align with what I want? Do they represent what I'm looking for and what I'm looking to achieve? And then check that you haven't already covered that same outcome or wording in another pre-existing affirmation. You know, if you say that SP talks to me every single day, or I meet up with SP every single day, but then you're also saying SP takes me on a date every day, they kind of mean the same thing, and they are slightly different, but not enough for you to justify saying them both, in my opinion. So if it's something where the action, the verb, or the adjective is basically a synonym, where they're basically the same thing, you're going to get the same thing whether it's seeing your SP every day, whether it's just hanging out or on the date. They are kind of the same thing. I would say pick one or the other. If it's SP can't stop thinking about me and SP is obsessed with me, I would probably say also pick one or the other, because they more or less mean the same thing. If someone's obsessively thinking about you, what's the difference between that and them being obsessed with you? I kind of feel like you should differentiate your affirmations quite well. So if you feel that one of your affirmations actually covers the outcome of the new affirmation that you want to introduce, probably best not to use both. Try and combine them, like I said, or switch out one for the other, or just stick with the original, because the one that you're trying to introduce already is so similar to what you've already worked towards. Why start over from scratch? And again, you want to make sure it doesn't clash. That's another point. You want to make sure that what you're affirming now doesn't clash or doesn't sound silly, such as SP is asking to be my boyfriend, and you're also saying SP is my husband. It's like, pick one or the other. Like, do you want to go in steps and start there, or do you want to go straight to the end with marriage? You do have to kind of pick one or the other. Final point is, if your desire hasn't changed and you just want to shift your affirmations, you want to change them up, I've written down here that you should keep it on topic, so keep it all related. Like I said, don't go from marriage to being a boyfriend, or text message to proposal. Like, these are huge different jumps. Like, you can say texting me all day, and then you can also say messaging me on Instagram all day. They are very, very similar. It's all about consistent, constant communication. Yes, the source of that communication is slightly different, but they pretty much mean the same thing, that you are getting constant messages sent to you from your SP. That's one way that's totally fine to shift it up if that's what you want. Try to keep the affirmations on topic and connected and making sense all together in relation to what you're already manifesting, not just for an SP, in any topic. So that is today's video. I hope this was useful and gave you guys some clarity and ideas on when and how you could potentially change your affirmations. Do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!